Here's a strange question. What if the earliest signs of wealth aren't material at all, but psychological? You don't wake up rich one day out of nowhere. The money usually shows up after your mindset changes. And when those shifts start happening, they can feel weird, even wrong. You might think you're becoming less nice, more selfish, or too obsessed with control. But what's actually happening is that your brain is upgrading from a scarcity mindset to a wealth operating system. It's uncomfortable. It messes with how you relate to people, how you see your time, and how you value your work. In this video, I'll show you 5 disturbing behavioral shifts that almost always happen before the money does. If you've started experiencing these, don't panic. You're not broken. You might just be getting rich. Shift number 1. You start prioritizing results over relationships. This shift hits hard, especially if you've always seen yourself as a kind, loyal person. When you're on the path to wealth, you start noticing that results matter more than intentions. You no longer keep people around just because you like them. You start holding yourself, and others, to higher standards. And that creates tension. You might stop tolerating underperformance. You might end friendships or partnerships that drain your focus. You start valuing progress over peacekeeping. To others it can look cold. But to you it starts to feel necessary. Because the cost of emotional comfort is too high when your mission is on the line. Shift number 2. You start using leverage instead of fairness. Nice people love fairness. But people on the path to wealth? They start seeing leverage as the real game. You begin to notice power dynamics in conversations, deals, and relationships. You understand who holds what cards, and how to use yours better. It's not about being manipulative. It's about understanding that value and timing matter more than splitting the pie evenly. This shift can feel predatory if you're used to playing nice. But in reality, it's about being strategic, not sentimental. In negotiations, in business, in life, you learn to stop giving the same energy to people who bring very different value to the table. Shift number 3, you become emotionally detached from outcomes. This one might scare you at first. You start noticing that your emotions no longer drive your decisions. You don't panic when things go wrong. You don't get overly excited when something seems promising. You're calm, focused, even surgical. To people who knew the old you, the one who was emotionally reactive, this shift feels robotic. But it's actually powerful. You become less controlled by fear, hype, or ego. You look at data. You take action. And you move on when things don't work. Wealth requires decisions made from logic, not emotional noise. This level of detachment is a muscle. And when it starts showing up, you're getting strong. Shift number 4, you replace fairness with value. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. You stop asking, is this fair? And start asking, what's this worth? You might raise your prices. You might stop justifying your rates or giving discounts just to be liked. You might stop charging by the hour and start charging by the result. People might say you're getting greedy. But what's actually happening is you've stopped valuing effort and started valuing impact. The market doesn't reward fairness. It rewards value. And once you internalize that, you stop apologizing for your worth. Shift number 5, you obsess over leverage, not just labor. This final shift may be the most transformational, and the most misunderstood. You stop idolizing hard work for its own sake. You start building systems, automating tasks, hiring others, and using capital to buy time. You realize that your personal effort has a ceiling, but leverage doesn't. To the outside world, you may look like you're doing less. But behind the scenes, you're building smarter, faster, and with far more scale. You've shifted from being the worker to being the architect. And it shows. If these shifts feel familiar, or if they've been making you question yourself lately, hit that like button. You're not becoming less human. You're evolving. These are the signs that your mindset is leaving the old game behind and entering the world of high-value, high-impact thinking. Subscribe if you want more insights like this, and drop a comment telling me, which of these 5 shifts have you started to feel? Which one scares you the most? Let's talk about the real side of wealth, before the flashy stuff shows up. Most people think becoming rich is about numbers, tactics, and luck. But real wealth? It begins with how you think. And the thinking that leads to wealth can be deeply uncomfortable. because it requires shedding beliefs that once felt virtuous, like people-pleasing, overworking, and undercharging. You don't have to stop being a good person, but you do have to stop operating with a poor person's operating system. So if these changes are happening in your life, don't resist them. They might just be the clearest sign yet that wealth is on its way.